Welcome to old Buddhist philosophy. This is not a message, it is a vibration, a whisper wrapped in silence, a soul tug from beyond time. What you are hearing now is not content, it is transmission, a coded blessing moving through sound and space, through screen and spirit, through the soft corners of your awareness, where something ancient still breathes. What if I told you that this month, July, is not just another page in the calendar, but a cosmic corridor, a sacred passage, vibrating with encoded energy, the kind of energy that doesn't announce itself loudly, but moves in symbols, in numbers, in moments that repeat until you finally pause and ask, what is the universe trying to say to me? This is not superstition. This is not fantasy. This is the language of the cosmos, the mathematics of spirit, the numerology of awakening. Numbers in the old traditions were never just tools for counting, they were containers of meaning, carriers of frequency, the very structure of divine design. As Pythagoras once said, numbers rule the universe, and in the East, the Buddha reminded us, with our thoughts, we make the world. Numbers are the bridge between thought and manifestation. So ask yourself, have you been seeing certain numbers again and again? Does your gaze fall upon 1111 when you least expect it? Has the number 77 found its way into your life in unexpected places? Do receipts end in 44, or dreams echo with numbers you can't explain? These are not coincidences. These are calls, clues, alignments. You are being guided, but not in the way most people imagine. The truth is, this guidance isn't external. The numbers are not speaking to your ears, they are speaking to your soul. They are not here to tell you something new. They are here to help you remember what you already know but have forgotten in the fog of this world. Because prophecy isn't about predicting the future, it's about remembering the truth you came here to live. And in this sacred month of July, the energies have shifted. The portals are thinner. 6 ancient numbers, each carrying a spiritual code, are now circling this present moment. They are arriving not just to be noticed, but to be felt, to activate, to transform. These 6 numbers are not lucky charms, they are vibrational guides, sent to initiate your alignment with clarity, wealth, healing, focus, and inner power. And beyond them, a 7th number waits. A bonus frequency, a master amplifier, the kind of number that appears only when the soul is ripe for deep change. But before we begin, let me ask you, are you fully here? Are you willing to see beyond the physical? Are you ready to listen to the subtle language of destiny? As the Dhammapada teaches, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. And so, what you notice now, what you feel through these numbers, will shape the energetic reality of your next cycle. This is not magic. This is mindful manifestation. This is awakening. This is the sacred mathematics of the path. So breathe gently. Come back to your center. Place your awareness like a lotus resting upon still waters. You are not watching this by accident. You are here because something in you knows it is time. If this resonates, honor it. Like this video, subscribe to Old Buddhist Philosophy, and in the comments, offer your intention to the universe. Right. I am open to prophecy. I receive the sacred numbers of July. Let us now begin the journey, slowly, soulfully, together. Number 22, the Master Builder of Dharma. Let us now open the sacred scroll of number 22, the Master Builder, the silent architect of destiny, who does not merely dream, but constructs, stone by stone, moment by moment. Unlike fleeting numbers that flutter like moths around the flame of wishful thinking, 22 is the number that brings heaven down to earth and lays the blueprint of divine purpose across the floor of your lived reality. In this number lives the rare fusion of vision and discipline. It does not speak in fantasies, it speaks in pillars, plans, and patience. This is the number that asks not what you hope for, but but what you're willing to craft. In the eyes of the ancients, 22 was revered not for magic, but for manifestation, not for mystique, but for mastery. The sages would say, do not build in sand what the soul asks you to build in stone. And 22 listen. Its energy is Saturnian, ruled by the great karmic teacher. Saturn, the keeper of time, the guardian of sacred order, calls through 22, build it slowly, build it rightly, build it eternally. You may find yourself now standing before an inner structure, half-formed, an idea, a business, a path, a dream, and yet something within you hesitates, waiting for applause, approval, or perfect timing. But 22 doesn't. It moves in silence, builds in solitude, and trusts that structure will call spirit when the foundation is worthy. In Buddhist wisdom, this vibration is echoed in the middle way, not a place of compromise, but a sacred equilibrium between fire and water, between impulse and inertia, between vision and action. 22 is the monk who returns to the same stone steps each morning, sweeping the temple courtyard not for praise, but for presence. It is the Dharma of devotion, the energy of steady emergence, the art of building what is unseen but destined. And this July, the current is strong. The scaffolding of your next reality is not being handed to you, it is being revealed through your persistence. There is no shortcut here, only sacred architecture, only the deep satisfaction that comes from rising every day, placing another brick of effort, patience, and clarity upon the altar of your becoming. So breathe into this moment. Can you feel it? The structure is waiting for your hands, not your hesitation. The dream is waiting for your discipline, not your doubt. Number 22 doesn't ask you to rush. It only asks you to return, to trust the design of your soul, and to build what only you can build. And now, beloved seeker, pause, reflect, and ask, what sacred foundation am I willing to build, even when no one is watching? Number 9, completion and the sacred light of clarity. And now, the journey draws us into the ancient breath of number 9, the number of completion, the final petal of the lotus, before it falls gently back into the stream. This is not an ending born of sorrow, but of liberation, a gentle release, a spiritual exhale, for when the soul has gathered all its lessons, when the cycle has taught all it came to teach, number 9 appears, not as a door closing, but as a quiet gate into a higher field of being. You may have felt it subtle yet undeniable. Numbers ending in 9, clocks striking 909. The echo of 9 out of 10 repeating through conversations, advertisements, even dreams. These are not coincidences, they are whispers from the divine, telling you it is time. You are ready. In the sacred lens of Buddhist wisdom, 9 is the final turning of the Dharma wheel. It is the moment the monk lays down his final robe and realizes that the path was not about reaching, but about releasing. The ego dissolves, the striving quiets, the flame of desire flickers out, and in its absence, a greater light arises. A light that is not seeking anything, because it has remembered that it is already whole. Number 9 asks you with gentleness, what are you clinging to that no longer honors your highest path? A belief, a relationship, a version of yourself that belonged to a former season. Even the chrysalis must fall away for the butterfly to take flight. And just as the Buddha taught impermanence as the key to freedom, so does 9 offer clarity, not through force, but through surrender. Remember the story of Teresa, a seeker much like you. Her life was a storm of deadlines, obligations, endless scrolls of noise. But when 9 kept appearing, she finally paused. She turned off the world, turned inwards, and spent one quiet weekend doing nothing but breathing, walking, listening, and in that stillness, something profound returned. Not something new, but something ancient, herself. July is offering you the same space now. The world will keep spinning, but your soul is asking for completion. It is asking you to bless the endings, not fear them, for in every conclusion lies a concealed beginning, and in every release, a return to center. 9 is not the death of a chapter, it is the sacred punctuation before a new sentence begins, with clarity, not confusion. So I ask you now, with all the softness this number brings, what burden are you ready to lay down, so your soul can rise with clarity? Number 3. Expressive joy and soul expansion. From the deep well of endings that number 9 offers, we now rise into something lighter, more playful, and utterly alive, the radiant energy of number 3. If 9 was the final note of a sacred song, then 3 is the melody that begins again, filled with color, movement, and breath. It is joy not as escape, but as essence. The kind of joy that whispers to your soul, you were born to shine. It is a return to your inner artist, or storyteller, your singer of dreams and truth. Number 3 doesn't ask for silence, it invites a dance. Have you found yourself humming songs for no reason, scribbling thoughts into poems, laughing alone at memories that feel like lifetimes ago? That's the current of 3 calling you back to your expressive center. The part of you that doesn't perform for applause, but creates, because the soul must. In numerology, 3 is sacred not just because of its trinity, but because of its rhythm, the rhythm of becoming whole through voice, presence, and joy. In the teachings of the Buddha, this number echoes the noble principle of right speech, one of the eightfold path's most luminous pillars. But right speech is more than kind words. It is truth that arises from the still heart. It is not about being agreeable. It is about being authentic without harm. It is the refusal to silence oneself in fear, and the refusal to speak from ego or pride. Number 3 asks, not just that you speak, but that your speech be born from awareness, from love, from the clarity of who you truly are beneath the masks. Cosmically, number 3 is ruled by Jupiter, the great planet of wisdom, expansion, and generous optimism. Jupiter doesn't tiptoe. It arrives with abundance, with boldness, with a yes that echoes through your entire being. When number 3 appears under Jupiter's grace, it means your soul is ready to be seen and heard. You're not meant to live in the shadows of silence. You're meant to echo, to write the story only you can tell, to bring levity to your healing, and truth to your laughter. Those who follow the signs of 3, seeing 333 on clocks, room numbers, or tickets, often discover they are on the brink of expressive transformation. A soft nudge becomes a loud knowing, I have something to say. Many describe feeling pulled toward journaling, teaching, performing, or even starting heart-led projects they once shelved. This number brings divine permission to return to your voice, to use your truth, not just to change others, but to free yourself. Let me tell you about a seeker named Anaya. She kept seeing the number 3 everywhere, license plates, receipts, street signs. At first she ignored it, but then in meditation, it came again. Clear, repeating, so she listened. She let go of the idea that she needed to sound like others. She began sharing her meditation guidance with music, laughter, and stories from her own life. People told her she was too unconventional, but soon, others began to resonate deeply. Her voice, in all its honest imperfection, became a bridge for others to heal. That is the power of So take a breath now, place your hand on your chest, listen. The universe is not asking for performance. It is asking for presence. It is asking you to speak, sing, dance, and breathe, not to impress, but to express the unrepeatable energy that only you carry. Your joy is not trivial. It is sacred, and it is needed now, more than ever. So I ask you, not with pressure, but with love. What part of you is ready to be seen, heard, and celebrated without shrinking, without apology, and without delay? Number 23, freedom and flow. From the joyful expression of 3, we now move into a sacred current, swift, liberating, and endlessly alive. Number 23 enters like a river after a long drought. It doesn't shout, it whispers, yet carries the force of transformation. In numerology, 23 is a blend of 2 sacred pulses, the duality of 2, balance, connection, cooperation, and the freedom of 3, expression, creativity, movement. Together they create a vibration that is constantly flowing, never stagnant, and always inviting you to release control and surrender to life's living rhythm. When 23 appears, the soul often finds itself at a strange crossroad. You may feel stuck, but not broken, drained, but not defeated. Something deep within wants to shift, but you don't know what or how. That's the medicine of it. Asks you to move, not because you know the destination, but because your spirit was never meant to sit still. Whether it's your career, your habits, your thoughts, or even your spiritual practice, this number is a cosmic breath of fresh wind, saying, there is more beyond this point, but you must begin to walk again. In the teachings of the Buddha, clinging is one of the primary roots of suffering. We hold tight to routines, identities, relationships, even pain, because they feel familiar. But the Dhammapada reminds us, drop by drop is the water pot filled. In other words, change does not need to be drastic. Movement does not require a full plan. 23 brings this very truth. It is not asking for perfection. It is inviting you to try again, to shift even slightly, to breathe again into the places that have become tight and afraid. Astrologically, 23 resonates with the element of air, carried by Mercury's curiosity and Jupiter's expansion. It is a number of explorers, thinkers, travelers, and artists. It belongs to those who feel too much when they stand still for too long. And so, it brings you the sacred permission to do what your soul has been craving, change, not chaos, but a wise, flowing transformation that starts with movement, a conversation, a trip, a bold idea, a new rhythm of the day. You don't need to tear it all down, you just need to shift the energy. In the mystical visions of Baba Vanga, she often spoke of turning points, moments when humanity would need to release the old structures to find harmony again. She once said, people must listen to the signs. The earth speaks in change, and so does your inner world. If you've been seeing 23 often on receipts, timestamps, page numbers, it may be your soul's way of urging you toward inner flow and outer liberation. Imagine a monk walking through a forest path with no map. He does not panic. He breathes. He watches the sun, listens to the wind, feels the ground. His path is not planned. It is sensed. That is the essence of 23. You don't need to predict the entire journey. You only need to trust the step in front of you. So let the weight go. Let the timeline soften. Let the outdated structure dissolve. You are not stuck. You are simply being asked to move differently now, with less tension, with more curiosity, with trust in the sacred now. So I ask you, with softness and truth, what are you still gripping that no longer supports your growth, and are you ready to let it go, not with fear, but with grace? Number 17, realignment with purpose. In the stillness between action and awareness, there is a path that only the soul can feel. This is where number 17 lives, not in the noise of ambition, but in the silence of alignment. Imagine walking through a forest just before sunrise. The ground is damp with dew. The air carries the hush of something sacred. There's no urgency here, no competition, only presence. That is the gift of 17. It does not push you forward, it calls you inward. And in that quiet, it asks, are you truly walking your own path, or one someone else handed to you? Numerologically, 17 is a fusion of 2 sacred forces. 1. The initiator, the leader, the soul's first cry. And 7. the seeker, the mystic, the one who questions deeper truths. Together they form a divine equation: purpose through reflection, power through pause. In a world that celebrates speed, 17 is the number that dares to slow down. It reminds us that doing more is not the same as becoming more. It turns the spotlight inward and gently whispers, "Who are you?" when the roles and goals fall away. In Buddhist teachings, the word sama ajiva, right livelihood, emerges from the Noble Eightfold Path as a guidepost to living with purpose. It teaches that true success is not about accumulation, but about alignment. When we pursue things that fragment our spirit, we drift, but when we act from clarity, even the smallest steps radiate peace. Number 17 is your compass back to that clarity. If your days feel full but your heart feels empty, it is time to return, not to the past, but to the truth of your essence, the place where purpose and peace meet. Mystics like Nostradamus often spoke of moments in history where humanity would forget its soul in pursuit of false idols. His quatrains warn of golden cities that collapse under their own illusions. 17 is the antidote to that illusion. It calls you to rebuild, not higher, but deeper, not louder, but wiser. It doesn't ask for sacrifice, it asks for sincerity, and it knows that the most powerful life is the one lived in harmony with your inner truth, not someone else's expectations. Baba Vanga once predicted that humanity would face a spiritual drought, a time when people would chase everything, yet feel nothing. But she also foresaw a time when many would awaken, quietly, one by one, not through catastrophe, but through subtle inner shifts. That's the energy of a number that doesn't shake you, it realigns you, and when it appears on doorways, gates, digital clocks, it comes as a sacred checkpoint, gently redirecting you to the life that truly nourishes your soul. So pause, not in fear, in faith. Breathe. Step back, ask yourself, not what you should be doing, but what you are meant to become. The river of July may be rushing, but 17 is the still pool, where the reflection becomes clear. And now, I ask you, not to answer quickly, but to sit with it in your own quiet way. What truly nourishes your spirit, and are you willing to let go of what doesn't, even if the world calls it success? Bonus number 44, steady growth and strength. And now, as the final veil lifts, we arrive at the master builder, the quiet titan, the number of sacred foundations, number 44. A number so powerful, the ancients often spoke of it as the invisible scaffolding of the soul's journey. It carries the weight of 2 fours, not just stability, but stability squared. Structure magnified, endurance multiplied. In numerology, 44 is rare, not because it's hard to find, but because it only appears when the soul is finally ready to grow, not quickly but correctly. While others rush to harvest what hasn't rooted, 44 whispers of patience, of legacy, of things that outlast time. It is the number of the mountain, unmoving, steady and sure. The winds of July may swirl, the energies may surge, but 44 remains, and in its sacred silence, it asks you, where is your true foundation? Is it in appearances, in temporary noise, or in something deeper, something chosen with intention and built with care? In Buddhist philosophy, strength is not harshness, it is clarity, repetition, presence. A monk builds the same altar stone by stone, day by day, not for applause, not for speed, but because sacred things deserve sacred attention. That is 44. Discipline as devotion, structure as sanctuary. You may feel unseen this month, doing the quiet work, but 44 sees you, and it honors your slow rise. Seers like Nostradamus often wrote that empires built on illusion would fall, while those rooted in discipline would rise after the dust had settled. He foresaw not only collapse, but the patient reconstruction of a wiser world, 44 is that reconstruction, and Baba Vanga once said that the most profound changes would not be loud, they would be rooted in the invisible routines, the daily choices of the spiritually awake. That is the essence of 44, not drama, but direction. This number doesn't ask for flash, it asks for focus. It appears when you've planted the seed and need to stay with it, water it, tend it, not just with effort, but with calm, clear vision. Because what you are building now, beneath the surface, will become the pillar that future seasons depend on. And so I ask you, as this journey through sacred numbers completes, where in your life is it time to build, not fast, but faithfully? And are you willing to trust the power of slow, steady growth? Affirm this now. I build slowly, I grow wisely, I rise with calm strength. Write it, speak it, let it shape your mornings, let it fortify your evenings. Let it remind you that slow is not weak, it is sacred. These numbers are not mere coincidences, they are spiritual blueprints, quietly whispered to the soul when it is ready. They come not to distract, but to awaken, not to impress, but to initiate. Every number you've just received is a sacred tool, an energetic compass, woven with cosmic intelligence and Buddhist grace, guiding you back to your own rhythm, your own truth, your own divine unfolding. This July is not just another month, it is a threshold, a hidden doorway cloaked in routine. Behind it waits your transformation, not loud, not forced, but steady and sincere. The universe has already aligned the signs, the frequencies are clear, the sacred numbers have been spoken. Now it is your turn to respond. Will you honor the nudge? Will you lean into the mystery? Will you trust what the numbers are trying to tell you, not with logic, but with your spirit? Comment below with the sacred intention. I am open. I am aligned. I am ready. And if this journey touched something ancient within you, like a memory long buried under noise, then let the ripple continue. Like this video, subscribe to Old Buddhist Philosophy, and share it with someone who may have forgotten their path is still holy. Their timing is not late, their soul is still listening. Until we meet again, breathe deeply, walk gently, and remember, the quiet knows, the numbers whisper, and your becoming has already begun.